Real quick, guys, if you want to help me get more videos out faster, you can donate to the channel at the Cash App down below. This helps me treat these videos more like a job and will help the channel and videos to grow and come out more often. I appreciate anyone who donates or doesn't donate, and don't feel like you have to be a fan of the channel. You can still show your support by liking and commenting on the video, and with that out of the way, hope you enjoyed the video. Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. In today's lesson, guys, we'll be looking over a hypothetical battle between Doomsday from the DC Comics and the Akatsuki. And this is basically a video talking about if the Akatsuki could come up with some way to defeat Doomsday, a being that has been able to take on the likes of the Justice League and even kill Superman. And overall, I thought this would be a really cool matchup because it would be a villain for the DC Universe versus the group of villains from the Naruto franchise. And this is the second video in a series of videos where I'll be taking different comic characters and pitting them against the Naruto verse. So if you're a fan of the Naruto verse or you're a fan of comic books, be sure to subscribe for some power scaling videos that might not have to do with Naruto verse versus comics. I might do comics versus comics or comics versus manga in the future, but for right now we're just going to be focusing on the Naruto verse versus stuff like Marvel and DC universes. With that being said, guys, let's jump right into today's topic and matchup. Yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to talk about is strength. And first thing we'll look at is Doomsday. So Doomsday's strength is basically scaled to beings like Darkseid, Superman, can constantly take on opponents such as the Justice League in a team match, like kind of like a 7 and more against 1 scenario. One of Doomsday's greatest fighters, that was one of his friends on Apocalypse, that had no idea that he would be able to lose to someone like Doomsday, got completely destroyed in front of Doomsday and actually put fear into the new god, basically. And he basically took on Doomsday in a fight, and this happened, I believe, twice. And in both encounters, Doomsday was able to come out on top. And for those that don't understand, Darkseid actually, like I said, scales the beings like Superman. In times can even overpower him. Putting Doomsday and Darkseid usually scales about like multiversal or something. So for Doomsday to just beat the snot out of him basically is a pretty big deal. Another things that Doomsday is able to do with just pure strength is, like I said, he can trade blows with Superman. He can also rip regular humans in half if he chooses to do so with simple things such as like metal wires and stuff like that. He can take any type of gunfire, any type of lasers usually that isn't from any superpowered being like Superman. That can shoot things like the heat vision at the level that he can, because he usually taints these things such as, like heat beams from Kryptonians basically. And he can easily destroy people on near human levels if he chooses to do so. Some of his greatest feats have to be that he's able to actually hurt beings like Darkseid and Superman with his spites, basically, which leads into his strength. He's also been able to break people like Superman's arm. He's been able to take on multiple Kryptonians at once and overpower them, basically showing his strength level. When compared to massive fighters like them. He's also been able, to me, being one of the most impressive, being able to break master Green Lantern's constructs. They usually can, I believe, sometimes encompass an entire planet. It can allow them to travel through space way faster than light, but we'll get more into that during the speed section of the video. But he's able to break these constructs by just getting angry and just breaking it. And he's able to kill one of the Green Lanterns that came to try to stop him while he was exploring the cosmos, basically, in DC's universe. When he had first started, traveling the universe, basically the DC universe. And he just has many feats like these that I mentioned here, putting him very high. Like I said, if you're getting technical on where these characters usually scale that, he's defeating, he would be around the universal multiversal range. And for people like Darkseid, I believe he can be sometimes outerversal. But yeah, overall, Doomsday is a beast, and he's able to fight multiple opponents that are on these levels and basically just, take them on all at once. And Doomsday's not dumb, and he actually adjusts his strength, it seems, to fight the opponents that he's fighting against at the moment, because he doesn't, just one-shot everybody that is weaker than Superman and stuff like that. So it seems like he powers up and he levels up himself, adapts in a way, which is his most popular ability, to adapt and come back to life. And he basically uses this to basically fight the opponent that he's fighting at the moment, and adjust his strength accordingly. So that's very important to keep in mind when you're putting him into a versus battle. And yeah, that's basically it for Doomsday when it comes to his strength for this video. Now, going into the Akatsuki really doesn't have a lot of strength feats. I would say their most strongest members physically would probably be Kakazu and Kizami. Kakazu, if I'm correct, was able to swap hands with the Tail Beast, which are considered to be mountain busters. If given the opportunity, it was said that the Nine Tails, if not put in check, could destroy the world over time. So I would say they are around that range, maybe like multi-mountain, eventually could destroy cities, countries, and stuff like that. So that's pretty impressive, but Kakazu is probably the strongest member when it comes to a physical sense, and there really isn't many feats or anything putting any of the Akatsuki members in a physical level, such as Kizami and Kakazu. And Kakazu really does have more than Kizami. Kizami is really more just chakra based, not in a physical sense, at least not shown to us like that usually. And he was decapitated by people like the Killer Bee and the Raikage when they worked together and teamed up against him. And I forgot what it was called. I think it was the Land of Ice or something. It was where the Five Kaji Summit arc was taking place, and they basically had decapitated Kizami, so I wouldn't say he's up there on those levels. But Naruto's very hats based at the same time, so it's very hard to say, if this was a durability feat or not, or if this is the maximum of his durability. But we do know the Hiradora that guy had done had actually hurt Kizami really bad, where he couldn't even do anything anymore. And then my guy proceeded to beat him up afterwards as well. So overall, nothing in the Akatsuki from a strength perspective seems to be comparable to what Doomsday can do, so more than likely they're not going to try going hand to hand with them. And I can only see maybe Kakazu trying to attempt this, maybe Kizami working together to try to, get Doomsday basically defeated like this, but I just don't see it working. So with that being said, let's move on to our next topic, which is speed. Now, when it comes to speed for Doomsday, we have multiple different things we need to look at. The first thing we need to look at is that Doomsday has fought against people like the Flash, and to say Flash is moving top speed wouldn't be fat, because we have no way to prove that, but even Flash going, just normal speed, not trying to speed blitz Doomsday, which there's no reason to believe he wouldn't be trying to do that, basically is caught off guard and is just completely destroyed off panel by Doomsday. So it's not shown to us if he's going top speed or not, but even if he wasn't, what the Flash is able to do, and if you know that character, that puts him on a massively faster than light scale for Doomsday in basic combat speed. When it comes to his travel speed and his reaction time and stuff like that, his reaction time should be faster than light. He was able to fight against a Green Lantern that came after him and basically tried to, take out Doomsday, could kill him, and he was able to constantly fight back despite the Green Lantern basically going all out and fearing for his life and just trying to kill the monster. Eventually, he was defeated by Doomsday, and the Guardians basically sent all these different Green Lantern waves to fight against Doomsday. Now, the Guardians of the Universe knew that Doomsday was such a threat that they sent wave upon wave to basically try to take him out. And he basically just killed all the different waves that had came to basically take him out. So this basically puts him, even if you want to lowball and say that the one that fought against him wasn't, Fashion Light, which would be massive understatement. It should be said that he was fighting wave upon wave. One of them, out of thousands or hundreds or whatever it was, maybe even dozens, is going to be Fashion and Light for sure. Considering where they are at in the universe and having to get to where Doomsday is at. And none of them could take him out basically. So his combat speed slash reaction speed, combat reaction should be faster than light, 100%. Now, how much faster, you have to go into some calculations. But we do know that Oa is in the middle of the DC universe, and the DC universe is supposed to be like 200 trillion light years, if I'm correct. So cutting that in half would be like 100 trillion, and it takes them about minutes to get there. So even if like their combat speed isn't as fast, it's only like, let's say 10% or something like that, or even 1%, it would definitely be massively faster than light. So yeah, Doomsday is a monster when it comes to speed. Now when we go into the Akatsuki side, most of the Akatsuki, I don't think it is a debate for most Naruto fans that the Akatsuki are mostly all above lightning timers, basically the majority of them, at the most lightning speed, for some of them. For people like Toby and mainly just Toby, I would say, you could argue that he is below the speed of light, like, whatever that tier would be. He's definitely the fastest out of the 10 members or 9 members, how many Akatsuki there are. There's no doubt Toby is the fastest. You have people like Datara that flies on his clay birds that are pretty fast and are able to outspeed Gaara's sand, which could speed blitz the Raikage, assuming Gaara didn't get stronger throughout part 2. From the first arc all the way to the Raikage Summit, his sand should be moving near Raikage speeds, which is faster than lightning, barely. If I'm correct, it's like barely faster than lightning. Because I'm not using data books and stuff like that, because that hugely contradicts what we see in the actual manga for a lot of stuff. So I know in the data book they say he's moving light speed or something. That has nothing to do with the actual story, and everything in the story indicates he's more than likely moving above lightning speed. He's faster than a lightning timer, basically, the Raikage, and Gaara's sand basically was able to stop the Raikage from kicking Sasuke. So Datara, like, outspeeding the sand to an extent should put him around that speed when he's on his clay birds. And yeah, so that's important. But considering the massive speed advantage that Doomsday has, I don't think this would really work either. But Toby is pretty fast, being able to almost match the Yellow Flash in combat when he was only like 15, but that was a boosted up Obito with the Zetsu armor around him, so I'm not sure how Obito would scale without that. But I would say he's probably close to it. So, and Minato, I would not put his base speed in moving time in light speed range, but I would put his transmission time, his flying thunder god, basically, in the light speed range or instantaneous range. But I wouldn't put Minato's base speed in that range of light speed or something like that. Even though some people might, I just don't see it. But I would say they're definitely all above lightning timers, at least the majority of them, with the example of with the exception of maybe Itachi, because he was sad, so it might have been messing with his reaction time, and that's why he couldn't dodge Kirin as fast as he probably could have in his prime, without being sad. But that's basically it for speed. Now we go into the next thing, which is their tech. Now, tech, it's going to be really quick for Doomsday, because Doomsday doesn't really have a lot that we need to go over, because his adaptability is basically his most powerful asset when it comes to his tech. For those that aren't familiar with Doomsday, Doomsday's ability is that he can adapt to different situations while he's in combat. Now, this doesn't always happen, but when it's proven to be almost fatal for his character, his like instincts or his genes, his genealogy will basically kick in and try to protect him from the threat that could almost kill him. So, for example, you have scenes like with I forgot which person it was that was trying to use some type of like hypnotic ability on Doomsday, or they were trying to blow up his eardrums and basically strangle his brain from the inside. And he basically just closed his ear canals. Basically, his body automatically did that to protect his brain. Stuff like that. He's able to withstand stuff like a Wonder Woman's lasso because he doesn't really have any type of like morality, or he doesn't even really think. He's just like a pure animal. So stuff like that won't work on him. So stuff like Genjutsu just wouldn't work on Doomsday because there's really no mind there to basically try to hat him out. He also was able to, use his adapt abilities to basically neg Martian Manhunter's hat's abilities on mind control and stuff like that, or mind hats. So again, some more proof that stuff like that wouldn't work. He was able to have the intelligence enough to try to fight Orion from a distance instead of going just hand to hand with them and fighting the Astral Force, which is just a super powerful weapon in DC, a massive force in DC to deal with. And Doomsday had the intelligence enough to not get hit by it, or at least to fight him at a distance, someone like Orion. And eventually he did swap hands with Orion later on, which is very impressive. And his ability to be able to jump very far distances with just his pure strength alone, which I guess could have been done in the strength section, but the fact that he was able to, as Superman said, that he should be able to clear the moon in a matter of minutes is ridiculous in the type of speed you would need and the skill you would need to be able to do something like that. So Doomsday is strong and he is smart. At least smart enough to be able to fight in combat. Maybe not to do like some crazy stuff that other people can do, but in combat, very smart. Now, one of his skills is that he's able to heal himself to an extent. He has a regen, but I don't believe it's as crazy as other regions that we've seen in comics. So this is just in case he actually does get damaged by people like Superman and people on that tier. And yeah. Now, Doomsday, other tech he has is able to shoot his spites that can damage people like Kryptonians that are on such a massive level of power. So these are basically one-shot kills if these hit the Akatsuki. We also have, stuff like him, like I said, adjusting to what he's doing. For an example, when it comes to adaptability and how he uses it in combat, is that he was in a battle with Supergirl and a ton of different people like Superboy and the Eradicator and stuff like that. And they basically were fighting him with heat vision or something, and eventually he just started shooting energy beams from like his arms or something, like his hands or something. And Supergirl mentioned that he was adapting and basically trying to figure out what can work against the Kryptonians. It was like his body itself was trying to kill his opponent, despite what his brain might be thinking, which is very smart and very dangerous in this situation, because in the situation that someone like Itachi tries to use a Amaterasu, it's very possible that his body will adapt and just get it off of him, and then he himself will try to use a similar ability that is like Amaterasu, or at least has a similar heat and properties of what Amaterasu can do. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for tech, which stands for technique for those that don't know. It basically is your technique, or the tech that you hold for you for people like Batman or regular human tier characters. That's basically what this section is for. But jumping into the Akatsuki's tech could literally go on for like a whole hour if I were to explain everything the Akatsuki could do. So I'm just going to be mentioning the most important ones, going in the order of different Akatsuki members. So the first thing we need to talk about is Hidan. Hidan has the technique of immortality. You have to chop off his head and basically put it somewhere else, which should be very easy considering Hidan's durability does not look like it's great at all. And Doomsday should easily be able to just like rip Hidan's head off, or basically cut him in half and stuff like that. Basically very simple. Hidan has the ability to get you to kill yourself if he gets some of your blood in his mouth. That should never happen, considering I don't see someone like Hidan being able to make Doomsday bleed. So that's the first person. Now we have the second person, which would be Takazu. Takazu has physical strength. He also has his 4 elemental mass. I believe he has 4 mass. And he's a very good strategist. At the same time, he's very physical. One thing we do need to keep in mind, though, is that he was done in, and his masks were done in by one single resin shuriken, which should not scale to something like Doomsday either hitting you with physical force or him doing some heat vision, which he got during his fight with Superman and stuff like that. If anything, he might even speed blitz or just let the mask come to him and then just crush them. Because if you crush the mask, basically kills the monsters that are with the mask. And Tatsu himself does not have the durability to take hits from Doomsday. And considering Tatsu's ego, he basically would try to go fight Doomsday hand to hand, and he's gonna get killed in like 1 hit or 2 hits. So Tatsu pretty much couldn't do anything with any of his tech. We go into the next person, which would be Sazori. Sazori has his Hiraku body, and he also has his poison needles, basically. The problem with Sazori is that he has a lot of stuff such as his real puppet body, and he has different elemental attacks, but none of it should be able to actually pierce Doomsday. At least his needles wouldn't. He could use stuff like fire, water. He probably has wind. I'm not sure if he has wind or not. I think he has every chakra element at his disposal when he's in his real puppet body. But none of it really should be able to pierce Doomsday's skin. So Sasori pretty much would get folded in as well. Datara would more than likely see everything that's going on from a distance or using his Tlayber, and he would try, I would think, detonating bombs, different levels, until he gets to level C4, and basically just like nukes himself, just self-destructs. The problem with this is Doomsday's durability, but we will go through durability in a little bit so that you'll understand why this nuke attack probably wouldn't work against someone like Doomsday. But that's pretty much his greatest attack, other than, I believe it was C3, that basically almost killed Sasuke from the inside. It's a pack of nanobombs that basically will kill the opponent from the inside and disintegrate them from the inside, negating your defense system. Now, the thing is, again, when it comes to a situation like this, it could be a win, because this is definitely one of the most hacked abilities in Naruto. But the problem with it is that, kind of like I was saying with the Martian Manhunter, trying to hack his mind, it just didn't work. Or the situation where they're trying to do something with his brain to melt it from the inside or something, he just closes his ear canals. It's very possible that because electricity negates Earth style, and it's never clarified if it has to be chakra based or just regular electricity. Considering how Doomsday's body works, it's very possible that he would just negate the bombs while they're inside his body. Very possible, but there's no way to really prove that. So I would say that it is possible that this might happen. But again, it's very hard because from a speed situation, we have to believe that Doomsday's not one-shotting Datara before he even has the chance to do this type of attack. And especially since he's getting like super huge, Doomsday's not going to just stand there and just let him explode, you know what I mean? Considering how Doomsday doesn't even think, he's basically just attacking off instinct. I highly doubt he's just gonna wait there and wait for Datara to just build up and then use the nano bombs. So I really don't see that happening. Going to the next member, we have Conan. Conan's basically getting one-shotted. She has no durability at all. Has no way to attack Doomsday. The paper bombs trick isn't gonna work because all of them are too low in damage capability, so that's not an argument. Next person is Kizame. Kizame's chakra levels reach Tail Beast levels, which, like I said, should be around multi-mountain range. His hits, I would say, might be able to knock Doomsday back a bit if he's not trying. But I don't see him actually being able to like either knock him out or get him to the point where he's gonna, straight up like run away or something like that, or rethink his strategy. I think he would just knock Kizami back with, heat vision, which should be horrible for Kizami considering he's water based. He could even boil the water that Kizami's in if he tries taking it into the water and stuff like that. There's really nothing Kizami can do from a power standpoint. He can't hat Doomsday because none of his stuff is really hats based. He's a very powerful combatant, and that's basically what his character is. So against someone that's way stronger than him, he really can't do nothing. So Kizami basically gets, washed and folded. I believe the final three are Toby, Itachi, and Pain. So we'll talk about Itachi first. Itachi really has nothing other than the Toaster Blade and the Yada Shield. As well as the Susanoo, of course, that has to be activated to use those, I believe. So we have the Yada Shield, which is said to block everything in existence or something like that. But it is not omnidirectional. It is only one direction. So this is a situation to where you would have to believe that Doomsday either one, being a no limits fallacy, that he can't break through it no matter what, which really I doubt that's really true. Considering someone like Madara said that his sword, his perfect Susanoo sword, could destroy all things in existence. It's basically just a statement to kind of like get people hyped up. To get the reader hyped up, but it doesn't really mean that. But assuming it does mean that, there is ways to get around it, such as going underneath, going atop, or going behind, or the sides of the opponent. There's really nothing the opponent can do other than block what's in front of them. And considering, again, the speed advantage, it shouldn't be hard for Doomsday to basically get behind him. It literally just kill Itachi in one shot. When it comes to the Toaster Blade, it's very iffy if that would work. Considering it hits you on a spiritual level, I'm not sure if Doomsday has any spiritual durability when it comes to stuff like that. I would think he does, but there's really nothing I've read that has shown me that he does. So in the scenario that he somehow gets the hit on Doomsday with the Toaster Blade, maybe it's possible to steal Doomsday away. But we'll talk about his durability in a little bit and talk about why this probably wouldn't win the battle in the long run. So Itachi has somewhat of a chance because Genjutsu just straight up isn't going to work. There's really no mind there to basically mind hats him with, and considering Itachi is nowhere near the level of someone like Martian Manhunter or other telepaths that have tried to attack Doomsday in this manner, just wouldn't work against him. Genjutsu is absolutely irrelevant to this battle. Last person we have is Pain. Pain is unique because he has 6 paths. He has all these different abilities to be able to use. The Soul Absorption is his most overpowered ability in hindsight. And like I said, because I don't know Doomsday has any spiritual durability, I'm not sure if you'll be able to net this. But the fact that, like I said, that these things are getting one-shotted and speed blitz, which Naruto was able to do in Sage Mode, which is nowhere near the speed Doomsday is moving, should not be a problem. I mean, they would have to really team up to try to, overpower Doomsday and out-hats him in this sense, and that's assuming he doesn't have the durability to neg the Soul Absorption. Stuff like Chakra Absorption isn't going to do anything because this stuff isn't Chakra that Doomsday is able to do. Most of it is going to be physical, so he's getting one-shotted. The Animal Paths are going to get Speed Blitzed and one-shotted as well. There's nothing they can do. Despite their size, their power just isn't there. They were able to get overpowered by Sage Mode Naruto, so that's definitely not a possibility to be happening. So that's getting one-shotted. The Soul Path, the one that brings people back to life, is basically getting one-shotted. There's a chance you say Stamina, that if he keeps in the back, he can keep reviving people. But that's assuming that, Doomsday's, again, not speed blitzing and not one-shotting these things, like Naruto did, to a lesser extent. I believe we have, that's 4, right? We also have we have the Soul one, the Summoning one, we have the Soul Absorption one, we have the Mechanical one. They can shoot things like missiles and that's doing nothing, period. None of his attacks are going to do, or even pierce, Doomsday's body. He's getting one-shotted as well. And I believe that's it. And then we have the Deva Path, or Diva Path, which is the main pain, if I'm correct. And the main pain basically is, he's the most strong in a physical sense. He was able to swap hands with Seijo Naruto. But at the same time, his greatest attack was the Shinra Tensei, the Almighty Push, that he did on the village of the Leaf. And he was able to destroy all of it basically in one hit. So he's at least, at that moment, like country level. I think it's like country level, his attack. Which is ridiculous in the Narutoverse. But that alone, being that it's not really an explosion when you look at it, it's more like a physical force that's just like pushy. It's kind of like a hurricane in a way in how it's used and its properties. And again, considering the stuff that Doomsday has tainted, and we will get into that, we're almost there, the durability. This really should not push Doomsday hugely bad, like make him fly or something like that. More than anything, he's literally just going to move a little bit and that's it. So if Pain does that and he tries to go all out or even use the Chibaku Tensei that the Nine Tails could break out of, there's really nothing Pain can do. His only chance is in a team scenario, and I mean they have to really use teamwork to be able to try to out-hat Doomsday. Okay, so I got it right here. So we have the Diva Path, which allows one to manipulate both attractive and repulsive forces. We have the Ashura Path, which grants the user mechanized limbs, weaponry, and armor. We have the Human Path, which gives the ability to remove a soul and read a person's mind. We have the Animal Path, which lets the user summon a wide variety of creatures. The Preda Path, which can absorb all forms of chakra, including most ninjutsu. The Naraka Path, through which one can summon and control the Kingdom of Hell, and the Outer Path, which rules over both life and death, along with the ability to manifest black chakra rods. So yeah, so those are the 6 paths of Pain, and mainly none of them, unless they really work together with, with the soul ripping or soul absorbing hats, if that is able to work on Doomsday, being a win condition. And that's basically it for Ted. We went over all the main techniques that the Akatsuki has at their disposal. Real quick, I almost forgot, we had to talk about Toby. So Toby has Conway. He also has different Sharingan abilities, such as the ability to predict what the opponent's going to do with their body movements and stuff like that. Using their body movements to predict the future in a way. He also has stuff like Izanagi to be able to erase one reality and restart, try and give himself a redo if he were to get killed or almost killed in a situation. If he was about to be killed, I guess you could say. He should be able to use the Izanami, but I've explained in the previous video, which was Batman New 52 versus Itachi Uchiha, that just wouldn't work on most DC characters, just the way they fight. Especially someone like Doomsday that isn't human, that he's literally like an animal. He's not going to fight the same way twice. You're not going to lure him like that. Because he moves off pure instinct. And it's just not happening. Obito's main thing to fame basically is the Conway, which sends people to the Conway dimension. And people like Kakashi are different, that he can send certain body parts of other people into Conway's dimension, basically like rip their head off and stuff like that, which he tried doing to the Gedomazo during the war arc. We also have things like Obito's Conway, though, and how it's used is that it can send the opponent to the Conway dimension and basically try to trap them there. Now, the weird part is we never really get to see the people that went into the Conway dimension in the actual series, such as Danzo's bodyguards and stuff that were sent there, and somehow we never saw them in the actual Conway dimension whenever Obito fought Kakashi in there. But yeah, I explained, or I think I almost explained in my Batman Itachi video, that Conway isn't as overpowered as it seems in a universe like DC that has characters like March Manhunter that have literally the same ability of phasing through objects, such as Natalie Pryor, I think, or Kitty something, which Kitty Pryde, I believe, the X-Men from Marvel, has the same ability as well. And they are not overpowered in the universe for good reason. There's a massive weakness to stuff like that with a phasing ability. And the big weakness is that if you are speedless, if you are not on a higher speed than your opponent, one, in Obito's case, he sucks people up into his Conway dimension. while he's doing that motion, he becomes physical. And a person like Minato, who is not moving even close to as fast as Doomsday, was able to get Obito to go phase mode again while he was sucking him up, or in situations like that. And this has happened multiple times with people like my guy Kakashi fighting against Obito with Naruto. And we've seen this time and time again. Obito has been made to have to get into his phase mode when he's trying to attack somebody. And someone like Doomsday literally could just speed blitz him while he's trying to suck him up. So someone like Obito, despite him being very overpowered in the Narutoverse, would probably get one-shotted in an actual versus battle where we're doing a team match. Because more than anything, he's going to get very cocky and try to take Obito out, not Obito, try to take Doomsday out, while the other Akatsuki members are keeping him busy, and that's going to be proved fatal if he gets one-shotted and just, completely countered by Doomsday, just like punching him in the face or something like that, and just ripping his head off. There's really nothing he can do. So Obito really isn't as formidable as Pain in this situation, because Pain has more bodies to go through, so he has more of a strategy he can use, whereas Obito kind of has to get hands-on. Even with his hats, he has to get close to you to be able to use it, and that's going to prove fatal in this type of matchup against someone like Doomsday. He can literally one-shot you in one hit, and do you in basically one hit. And yeah, so that's it for Tech, and Tech probably is the longest portion of this video. I'm sorry if it's taking that long. But we need to talk about it because the Akatsuki have a lot, and they're in need all that to fight against someone like Doomsday. But jumping into the final topic of the video and portion of the video, we have durability. Now, Doomsday's durability, first we'll go over the Akatsuki first, considering that they're not going to have as much, I think. The Akatsuki, their greatest durability has to go to Obito. Obito basically could take Rasengan from Naruto in Bijou mode, I believe it was Bijou mode, and basically not be that damaged, and basically just continue fighting afterwards when his mask got broken off and stuff like that. It was around that portion of the story. And yeah, he never complained about it. He basically fought everyone. He was to a standstill. Obito definitely has the most durability in all the Akatsuki, hands down, considering who he was fighting and the damage he was taking during that fight, fighting 4-on-1 or something like that, and was winning for most of it, with the exception of Kakashi basically helping Naruto land some hits with his own Kamui to counter Obito's Kamui, because they didn't have the speed to basically get him caught off guard with his Kamui. It's just, that's how it is. That's how the story is written. But most Akatsuki members, I think we can agree, could not survive a Bijou Bomb, period. They could not survive a Rasen Shuriken. Pain, which is probably considered the strongest member, with the exception of Obito, and some people could argue Itachi if he was in his prime. Or some people believe even without prime, Itachi's the strongest member. Could not survive a Bijou Bomb. They could not survive a Rasen Shuriken, period. They couldn't. Pain's bodies were getting one-shotted by Rasen Shurikens, and Pain himself did not trust getting hit by a Rasen Shuriken, and never tanked one during their entire time when they were having their fight in the Hidden Lake with Naruto. Never took a Rasen Shuriken to the face and survived. So this is very important because that durability, a Rasen Shuriken's attack potency or whatever, I would say, being generous, should be around, maybe, considering the radius that we saw during the Akatsuki fight, it was pretty big, the blast radius, so I would assume maybe a small city, or city level, and they could not tank that. They basically freaked out when they saw Rasen Shuriken. Even Pain was freaking out, basically, and had to try everything to dodge them, and, dodge it, basically. Now, going into Doomsday, and this is why it's very important that we go over this, is when it comes to the hats and what Doomsday has survived. Doomsday has survived Darkseid's Omega Beams that erase you from existence itself. Ridiculous feat, with people only like Superman basically ever doing something like this. This will kill most people. It basically erases you. It's not even like killing, it's literally erasing you from existence. Doomsday has survived getting hit by the Astral Force. At least it's implied he got hit by it, because we don't get to see it on panel, with Orion basically shooting it at Doomsday. Doomsday survived getting hit by Radiant, who had the power, I believe, of an entire planet, in him, and he basically just shot Doomsday, and Doomsday was just, fine, and he basically proceeded to kill Radiant afterwards. He's took in Superman not holding back with his heat vision, and basically just overpowered Superman and basically just fought back. He's took hits and a beating from Darkseid. He took the Omega beams and just got up like it was nothing and continued to fight and defeat Darkseid and do him in, basically. He survived the being thrust into the end of time. Now, Doomsday himself did not, escape from the end of time. Brainiac got him out. But the fact that he was able to survive there whenever, I forgot what his name was. I think his name was Wave Rider. And he basically told Superman they could not stay in there, that they would literally get destroyed by the timeline. Or time stream or something like that. And Doomsday was tanking it. So this gives us the impression that Doomsday has the hats above time. Basically, he cannot get affected by time attacks, or time manipulating attacks, space-time manipulating attacks, and this goes into another field, but we'll talk about that one last. Wave Rider also tried to, hat Doomsday by, I guess, evading his mind, or evading his nervous system or something, and he basically just, got overpowered trying to do this. And I believe that Superman did, some type of, time attack with some new god technology and basically send them into that time stream to basically try to get rid of Doomsday, because he felt like that was the only way to get rid of Doomsday once and for all. Of course, this wasn't the case, just Brainiac got him out of there, showing how smart Brainiac is as a villain to be able to even enter this time stream without the new god's technology, if I'm correct. But we'll talk about, Brainiac some other time. I need to read more about him before I can make a video on that guy, that character. And the last thing we need to talk about, when it comes to his durability, is that he fought a Green Lantern's guardian. Basically, one of the Guardians of the Universe was fighting Doomsday, just he had lost so many Green Lanterns, wave after wave, as we went through near the beginning of the video. Doomsday's a beast, basically, and this Guardian of the Universe basically self-destructed and destroyed the mountain that they were fighting on. Now, Doomsday had a ring from the Green Lantern that he killed earlier on in the video, but it's not implied that the ring was the reason why Doomsday was beating and tanking some of the attacks that this Guardian of the Universe was dishing out. And the Guardian of the Universe basically exploded himself, self-destructed, and at first it doesn't seem that impressive as the other Guardians of the Galaxy go to memorial to this mountain. That had been destroyed basically in respect to their fallen Conrad, but it's revealed to us by the Guardians of the Universe that are writing this, I guess, this little portion of the story, that the monster of Doomsday did not get defeated in this explosion, and this explosion was more than what it seemed to be. It actually ripped a hole in time and space. It wasn't just a simple mountain explosion that the panels led you to believe. So Doomsday basically got shot and hit by a thing that ripped through time and space and shot him into space itself. And he basically was unconscious for a while, and he crossed thousands of light years of space, as it says on panel. And it's crazy. It says that he was bloodied and he was broken from this attack that literally ripped time space, which should be ridiculous, and I don't know what that would scale to, but it's definitely anything above Naruto characters could do, in damage capability and stuff like that. It just shows how much durability Doomsday actually has. And mind you, this is Doomsday before he fought against Superman and killed him in the Death of Superman story arc. So this is just ridiculous. And that's pretty much it for Doomsday's durability, I think. He's ridiculous. He's able to fight against multiple Kryptonians at once, take multiple hits from them. And like I said, the fact that you can take stuff like Radiant's Planet Beam and Darkseid's non-existent Omega Beams, and also take a hit from Rip in Time and Space, an explosion that ripped some time and space itself, a hole in it, is ridiculous. And it's stuff like this, being able to fight against Superman, it's ridiculous, and Doomsday's durability is crazy. Like I said, on one hand, you have people that probably, if you're highballing, would scale to country level, if you're highballing. More than likely, being realistic, they're probably like city level, um, in the Resident Shuriken, so, attack potency and what it can do in the blast radius. But something like Doomsday, just straight up taint, Guardian of the Universe, time space, bomb basically. And there's no way to calculate how powerful that was, but the fact that it made Doomsday unconscious when he had just fought waves of Green Lanterns that could move like 100 trillion light years in the matter of minutes, maybe like half an hour for lowballing, maybe half an hour, is ridiculous. That type of speed and that type of strength just makes this basically a wash. But I do want to hear your opinions for people that are fans of the Naruto franchise and power scale that, or just like seeing these type of matchups. Do you think there's any way, if you're familiar with both characters, or maybe you're just hearing this video, this is the first time you've heard about Doomsday, or you don't really read comics and just wanted this type of information on this character and how he would do against this group of villains for the Narutoverse, do you think there's a way they could out-hats, and do you think there's a way teamwork could win this type of battle? Could the Akatsuki beat someone this powerful? And overall, I personally think at the end of the video, giving my verdict on who I think would win, I think Doomsday washes. I think there's a lot of interesting scenarios that you can come up with to where the Akatsuki can put up a little bit of fight, considering that the Justice League, they're not all great high tier characters and they don't all instantly die. So that is a point that you could make, that might be a reason why this wouldn't be super fast. But when we get down to it and when the stuff starts getting real, when Doomsday just starts killing people, I do think that the fight would go down like this. I just don't see any hats that they could use to win this battle. Or, be it in strength, speed, tech, or durability. I think Doomsday basically comes out on top in almost all four scenarios, all four aspects of a fight. But leave your comment down below. Let me know, do you agree with the video? Leave a like so I can make more. Let's make our like go 500 likes to get the next video. The next one I have planned is going to be a Marvel character versus the Narutoverse. I don't want to spoil what that character is, but I'm currently reading through his story volumes right now, the volumes for his story run. And once I finish that, I will be making that video, and it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be a lot more, I believe, closer than this one. I don't believe it will be as much of a wash, and I'm trying to make it a little more even, so hopefully this video does a lot better. And like I said, let's try to get 500 likes, and be sure to retweet this on Twitter if you're watching on Twitter, and be sure to share this with your friends as we're trying to grow the channel and reach 200 subs before the end of the year. And yeah, until next video, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.